Kelly Roberts is a recently trained engineer with a master's degree in chemical engineering from the University of Aberdeen. She lives in Hull and is trained on flow control systems. Kelly has a single interface to access all of the systems she needs to do her work. Her Fiori launchpad allows her to get her work done efficiently and at the same time make sure that she is compliant to all company policies. The sign-on is tied into her HR record, which means that she is compliant to the delegation of authority rules, part of her company's digital security program. On the launchpad, she sees that she has a notification from the plant maintenance system that her next job is to deal with a predictive maintenance issue at pump 116C in Rotterdam. As she clicks on the message, she sees that it is an automatically generated ticket based on a reading from one of the wireless corrosion sensors on the pump. The reading has been flagged as out of tolerance for the expected corrosion curve for that pipework in that environment, and the HANA system has brought forward the 6-month preventative maintenance job by 3 months. Kelly is a bit worried, as she knows a corroded pipe could eventually fail and cause a safety incident, but is relieved that this early warning will allow her to get out there and fix it in time. The engineer usually responsible for these pumps has recently retired, so she has to get out to Rotterdam quick. Kelly hasn't been to this facility before, as she has only ever worked at the plant in Hull, so she brings up the My Trips tile. She's immediately able to book the associated travel just as easily as her own holiday. Behind the scenes, it is fully compliant to the travel policy and accesses her company's corporate rates. While she's on site, the system will keep track of exactly where she is, so that her company has global visibility of where all its employees are at any point in time. The 6-month preventative maintenance job has a standard parts list set up by the maintenance department. It consists of some gaskets, a replacement flange, some lubricant, and a disposable protective apron. As part of the bringing forward of the maintenance, the system has rescheduled the purchase of the items. While on her way to the airport, Kelly wants to check that the kit has been spotted at the maintenance location close to pump 116C. No point in going all the way out there if the gear's not waiting for her. She checks her mobile app on her phone, where she can see the dispatch information from the supplier, and it confirms that the parts have been dispatched and are expected on site tomorrow. They even give her a DHL tracking code. Now at Rotterdam, she stops at the entrance to the facility. They are expecting her and have checked that she has taken the site-specific safety training and issue her badge. They also tell her the kit has been spotted and is by the pump. They have already scanned the barcode to confirm the receipt. Kelly is not familiar with this exact pump, so she uses SAP's Visual Enterprise on her mobile device to remind her just how to disassemble it. Now at the pump, she performs the standard maintenance of repairing the corroded flange. While doing a visual check, she notices that the corrosion has affected a couple of the bolts around the flange. They should really be replaced as well. She brings up a catalogue of approved suppliers for fasteners and chooses Fastenal, one of the approved suppliers, since they have them in stock, and an 8-hour services agreement. On reassembling the pump, she runs some standard tests, but the Siemens controller is giving a warning message she is not familiar with. It flashes "Call engineer." She needs to get a certified Siemens engineer who knows this machine and who is available. She opens up the Contractors tile on the launchpad and searches for an engineer, stating the date needed. Behind the scenes, the system is filtering not just based on experience and availability, but also on who is authorized to work on this site, which has its own safety certification process. Of the available engineers, Henry Travers is the most appropriate contractor. While waiting for Henry, she updates her travel from her phone to stay an extra night and take the flight back the following day. Henry arrives on time the following day and replaces the main control board and upgrades the firmware. All the checks are now passed and the pump is brought online. While walking back to the office, Henry says that he will soon be retiring. 2 more of these gigs and I'm on the beach, he says. He tells Kelly that her company has a program to train new engineers on this type of equipment. And Kelly is interested and brings up the My Career tile from the Launchpad and sees that indeed Henry is teaching a class on these control systems in Scotland in 6 weeks' time. She books herself on the class. The work is finished and the work ticket is closed. The incremental cost of the control board is booked to the asset and the overall repair is billed to the plant, keeping the accountants happy. The plant maintenance system has also recorded the firmware upgrade. Fixing the pump led to invoices from Granger, Fastenal, British Airways and Henry himself. All of these are received electronically and, being compliant to company policy, will not generate any time-wasting exceptions for Kelly to deal with. The pump was offline for less than 48 hours and is now up and working, and a potentially dangerous situation has been resolved. Let's look at the 5 key ways that Kelly was able to comply to her company policies. First, all her trips were compliant to travel policy. Airlines, hotels, both the suppliers and the rates. And when she submits her expenses, they'll be compliant as well. Second, she only ever used approved suppliers for her travel, for the pump kit, the extra bolts, and Henry the engineer. These suppliers have been through a company's corporate responsibility screening. All prices for the travel, for Henry, and for the suppliers are only ever bought at the correct rate, including any back-end supplier rebates. The procurement policies around the types of suppliers to engage with have been followed, and the critical policies about onboarding contractors have been followed, keeping the asset, the site, and the personnel compliant with safety procedures. Imagine if compliance was simply and intuitively built in to your day-to-day operations.